okay. It's all right. It's okay.
3, 2, 1. What's up, y'all? It's Miss Chartreuse, the AstroFLOTUS, and I'm here with my twin star, Sunny SunRai. We are here for an episode of Ask the AstroFLOTUS, and as you likely know, we are both the Gemini twins. How are you doing today, Ray?
I'm good. I'm feeling very much so Gemini-like today.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What does it feel like to be a Gemini? What is the Gemini feeling?
Busy.
Mm-hmm.
Busy. Like always thinking and intellectualizing and rationalizing.
Constantly.
Yeah.
It's the mental thing.
Like we're both running on, I think I had 3.5 hours of sleep each night for the last 4 nights.
Yeah. Waking up before the crack of dawn to teach your classes.
Yeah,
because the Gemini is always teaching. That's just our natural state of being.
Yeah.
Well, this is a perfect alignment because I got a question from a reader and she asked me how to be a spouse to a Gemini. So that's a loaded question. So I really had to bring my twin in for that. And this just is right. So Ray, how does somebody be a spouse to a Gemini? Partner with the Gemini.
Are we looking for like an uncensored, uncut, real discussion, or like a?
I think it has to be.
teenhoroscope.com. Like, how real are we getting?
I think it has to get real, and this is why people ask that. This is why she wasn't even the only one who asked how to partner with the Gemini. There was like a little support group forming in the comments.
Wow.
And they're like, "Oh, I feel your pain. Yeah,
I feel your pain too. Anyone who wants to know, I want to know. Actually, I would say if you have the option not to,
don't partner with a Gemini.
No, just opt out completely.
Right.
No, in all seriousness, it requires deep understanding of self.
Yeah.
Courage.
Right.
Yeah, like
don't elect them as presidents. You were saying,
yeah, don't elect them as presidents. Don't be their husband or wife if you have the option to. Just like don't. It's so much better to have a Gemini as a friend in your life, not your enemy. Certainly your friend. Right. I don't even know that we can be like real enemies with people. Right. You know, I know that I've seen some men, Gemini men and Gemini women who might not necessarily mesh with my energy. But I've never really heard of anyone who just outright isn't a solid person, with the exception of our president. You know, he makes a great example of someone who, you know, might be a little off his rocker, but he's still he's him.
He is who he is. Yeah. I mean, if we're going to look at this from an objective standpoint, he says what he is, and then y'all don't believe him, and then he does it, and then you're like, "Why? I can't believe you did this." And he's like, "Well, I told you what I was."
Like he's been wearing that toupee for how long?
Right.
Like he's never changed.
Right. This just is what he is. Yeah, I think Gemini inherently, we understand partnership. It's the sign of the twins. It is the first. It's the first representation of humans in the zodiac, because we have Aries as the ram, and then we have the Taurus bull, and then we have the Gemini, which is humanity. It's partnership. It's siblings. It's the twins. It's Castor and Pollux. It's partnership. So we know how to connect and inherently be with people. I think what Gemini needs most is real acceptance of that. And if you do not accept one aspect of this Gemini self, they are going to show you the other self, and you might not like that. So.
Yeah, I think you really hit a point. You know, entering relationships with the Gemini, you have to be aware that they don't change personalities. They don't have two faces. That's not what's happening when you feel like you are seeing a part of them that they don't show in the beginning. It's not that they're changing. It's just that you haven't unlocked or unearthed this part of them, because we're always evolving. And usually when you're meeting someone, so are we. So when you're meeting this aspect of, you know, our identity that isn't necessarily what you signed up for in a relationship, it's typically because it's new and fresh and childlike and innocent. Usually not something that we pre-plan or put a lot of energy into in advance. Like we're just becoming always.
Yes. So don't tell a Gemini, this isn't you, or this is not like you.
It's a joke.
What does it mean? Like, yes, this is me. This is just another aspect of me. So, I mean, every sign has its dark and its light, its benefits and its detriments. But Gemini is more than just the two. It's the multi-potentiality. We have one foot in the underworld and bringing the messages from the gods at the same time. That's really just how the dynamic works constantly. So you have to be able to roll with the punches and be flexible and fluid and not have everything be so rigid in a box that this is what our relationship has to look like. This is how we have to operate. You want to bring that stability in yourself, I would say. Like, that's really, if you want to be a good partner, have your shit together. Get your shit on order so that you are not derailed by the way that we function in multiple worlds.
Literally. I mean, to the T. I know so many Geminis who are therapists and who go into the field of psychology, hoping and, their intention is to help others. But like many therapists will tell you that any form of help that in service to others is really service to ourselves. And so I find that a lot of Geminis are in that profession, like myself, completing a degree in psychology and really wanting to go very far in that. I'm really working out my own shit every single day. And I would recommend as a best practice for being with the Gemini that you have your own therapist and that you have like a group of friends, like your own network and your own connections, if you really want to have a successful, thriving relationship, because we know how to enjoy ourselves. We know how to adapt. We know how to change. We're comfortable with change. But what we're not comfortable with is any form of stagnation.
Yes.
And we don't necessarily want or have the attention span necessary to help people get through their shit, ironically. So when we are sitting in these therapy sessions and we're helping as therapists, the truth is we're just living out our own realities. Like, we're fulfilling the part of ourselves that needs to talk, that needs to express, that needs to communicate, that needs to connect.
Yes.
Like you said,
Right.
we like to connect with people, but we're not the kind of people that you want to come to and expect to have like a finite plan with. Just flow. But you should have your shit together.
Yes.
And don't let a Gemini knock you off of your square.
Because you will be derailed and demolished, and we'll just be like, this is just a regular day. Like, this is just the path, where the path has unfolded and how it has led me to this moment. You have to be able to handle your business before, and even the question of how to be a spouse to a Gemini, like that almost kind of reeks of a little bit of a codependent nature, because really you want to focus on yourself, be the best person and work on yourself for yourself, so that when you come into partnership with a Gemini, you are at your best self and you're not going to be derailed by whatever confusing way that we're operating the day is.
Yeah. I think about the most attractive qualities in partners that I have been with, or my current partner. And the most attractive quality is someone who knows what they want and who is like completely clear and concise and confident in expressing who they are, what they want, and how they will not change or shift. So I don't believe that you have to compromise who you are to be with someone, but I do believe we are the most flexible. We're the most mutable. So it's really easy to get us to flow as long as you are honest, your intentions are genuine, and you know who you are. You make yourself a qualified candidate to be with the Gemini. That's just it. It's just those three things. Now, when you take away honesty and you think you can manipulate or like mold us into a particular kind of person, you will fail. You will fail so bad.
Ain't gonna work.
It's because by the time you like have shifted your idea or kind of molded this perspective of who you want, we will already be out the door.
Yes. Yep.
So
that is really it.
You just have to like know who you are and come to the table as you are.
Yes.
You don't have to put on a front, and Geminis really can see through it anyway. So you'll have, I know, I can only speak for me, but I know that I have had someone come to the table, a complete fraud, and I enjoyed myself with them until I was done, and then I've had people become completely genuine and honest and open and grow right in front of my eyes and like inspire my own growth. So that's a beautiful thing. But I think those are the three things that really matter.
Kanye said, my presence is the present. Kanye said, you should be honored that I would even show up to this. So if a Gemini is in your life, it's because they want to be in your life. They are choosing that, and you don't even really have to do much other than just be your best self and not try to manipulate or make it be something that it isn't.
What's your like love communication? What do you look for in your partner?
Okay, I definitely look for making generous assumptions. I do this myself. I always want to think the best, but if you are going to be jumping into conclusions or assuming the worst or like jumping into, oh, this is you're happening or this is an attack, really we are so self-preoccupied that we're not really out here plotting to try to attack or cheat or, you know, mess with people. So make generous assumptions and really hold that integrity in yourself so that you can bring that to somebody else. If you can just tell me what it is that you want and not try to do it like in a subtle, underhanded, manipulative way, like that's really it. Like I love to give people what they want, but they just have to know what it is that they want and then say it in a direct way and not in a backhanded, like I'm going to come home and be all up under you and just, you know, hope that you just don't leave me. Just tell me that you want to hang out and you would rather I stay with you instead of go out to the party, and
that's it.
Say
you don't have to hint, hint, wink, wink. We already see through the bullshit.
Yeah.
So it's just more powerful to stand in it, you know? Yeah. I would say for me, I think about like our curiosity. We are really curious people. So just be open to like sharing your thoughts and your feelings, even if you feel like you don't understand ours. Like be open to talking about things. Like there's nothing worse than being in a relationship as a Gemini and having to like dig through people's surfaces to understand how they feel and to get them to speak, because we're very communicative, whether we're writing or we're speaking, you know, verbally, that's what we do. So to hold in your feelings and expect us to like understand you, it won't happen. So I would say like feed our curiosity, you know, keep us on our toes. It's always nice to just be spontaneous. It's probably my favorite thing is just a random like, hey, we're doing this. Don't be afraid to take initiative. That's really important. I think as a Gemini woman, the most attractive quality for me is a man who takes initiative. And that's what I'm always looking for. Someone who is not waiting on me to tell them what I like. I don't necessarily need you to be perfect or get it right, but I do like the attempt at that spontaneity. You know, I really appreciate that. And it's just keep it fresh.
I also like being asked questions, so building off of that curiosity concept. I really like when somebody takes the initiative to want to know more, because it's like somebody's like, well, you don't say much about well, what do you want to know? There are a billion things that I could tell you about myself. I have lived at least 11 different lives in this one timeline, so what do you want to know about me? Ask me questions and come with that inquisitive aspect, because Gemini, we are communicators, so we end up a lot of the times listening and helping and being sounding boards. But you know, you can also come to a Gemini with that thirst for getting to know them on the deeper psychic level, and conversation, all that stuff that is foreplay, that is romance, that is such a turn on to be able to have that meeting of the minds.
I'd say don't be surprised at how open we are to those things that you might come to the table sharing. Like, we're really open people. So people assume that, you know, and think of this as any partnership, regardless of your sign. If you have this this idea of who your partner is before you actually take the time to get to know them, or even if you think you have been in the game for 10 years with someone and then they're not allowed to grow, evolve, and change. We're not stagnant people. So we're not fixed, which means like what we thought on Tuesday might be very different from how we feel on Friday. So don't assume just ask. It never hurts to just ask and to be open to change. You know, I might be totally open to shrimp on my pizza, and then like turn around and be like, you know, I don't eat shrimp this week. You know, like we're perfect, like part-time vegans, like all of that. So you just have to, you really have to just be okay with that. Like we are.
Yes, we are.
Totally content. So I think that's all I got.
I really wish you the best if you are partnered with a Gemini, and I salute you. I really do, because it isn't an easy thing.
No,
it ain't easy, but like nobody's easy. We are probably actually more open and more mutable and more able to, you know, show you new aspects that can make anything work if you are able to come correct within yourself. So, best wishes.
So, how to love a Gemini? Love yourself.
Love yourself.
Real good. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Peace. We ain't done.
Not yet. Activate
Wonder Twin action. Wait, this is
pew pew pew.
Wait, we have to like press something or something down.
Wonder Twins
Activate.
Oh my god, we even have a glyph. Look. Oh my god. A glyph. Okay. So after we finished the last video, it dawned on me that we forgot a very important aspect of being in a relationship with a Gemini.
Yes. Basically, we know what the fuck we're talking about.
All the time. Not about us, but about you.
Right. Don't forget, Gemini is literally the messenger, taking the messages from the gods, bringing it to Earth, and even taking the journey through the underworld. So we have been ordained to be the messengers, and Gemini knows this inherently. And a Gemini who isn't speaking the truth or isn't being what they are is living out of alignment and out of accordance with their very nature. So in order to partner with a Gemini in the most productive way, you really want to trust what they say when they say it, believe them when they are saying something, take what they're saying actually at face value, because we don't really have to waffle and beat around the bush. But if you don't want to hear it, or if you're going to be too sensitive, you're going to get defensive over what we're saying, and then we end up getting in a place where we're just like, okay, now I have to think about how this person is going to receive the message, because if I speak it in the truthful way, then they're going to feel like, oh, it's not personal.
It's never personal. Not when we're giving you the information that we know we're receiving for you. And it has nothing to do with ego. I guarantee, I promise you that most of the things that I've shared with people that I love is because it's for them. It has nothing to do with me getting any glory out of it. Sometimes it doesn't even benefit me, the information that I'm sharing with others. Sometimes it takes away from my comfort for me to tell you the truth about what you should do. For example, being in a relationship with a Gemini, when you're ending a relationship, like breakups, for example, you know, we know when it's over before it's over, before it's said. We already know. And so we have to like ease our way into exiting for other people. It's not really for us. Like, the lights just switch off. There's no slow dim. And I find that I've had people come to me from past relationships like, oh, when you told me, oh, I wish I had listened. Oh, and not just romantic relationships, platonic relationships, family relationships, you know. If you just listen to what we're saying and know, obviously, to just check you will know that 9 times out of 10 a Gemini is coming from a place of, it's for you, not for me. Not for me, but for you. And I really don't even care if you use the information that I'm giving you, but just know that I would never really share my time. I would not be able to direct my energy to give you information if it wasn't important.
Yes.
Because we're scattered and all over the place. So if something comes in and we take the time to share it, just know that it's jewel. Like, it's a jewel. It's wisdom. You can go jump off the cliff if you want.
You can take the scenic route.
It's up to you.
Around town. You can do that if you want.
I would say that Geminis are the example of people who need to learn by experience. But everyone else in our life should just learn from us.
Because we've been through there. we have taken
know.
the journey. We have done the work. We're here to make the unconscious conscious and shed a light on that. And this is what relationships are. Relationships shine a wound on all of our inner shadows so we can detoxify and get better through it. Right. And I can legitimately say that every person that I have been intimately connected with, partnered with, married to, has at some point told me, oh, Shar, I'm so grateful for you. I hated you when you left me and you sent me into a dark night of the soul. And I couldn't believe it, but they always come back with an email. Gifting me. Yes. You know,
or a letter or
something.
Gifts, literally. Fruits of the spirit.
Yes.
Coming back as an acknowledgement, which is what we're not even like looking for acknowledgement. The best acknowledgement in a relationship with the Gemini is trust and follow through. Yes. That is it. You don't have to tell me you hear me. You just need to show me by taking care of yourself. And that's really what it comes down to. Yes. We will tell you how to love us. We will also tell you how to love yourself better, which usually relates to like just taking time to care for yourself and not get too caught up in our world, which is why it's so important. I think we mentioned to have your own friends, to have your own like hobbies, to have your own identity before you become like a partner with the Gemini.
Yes. Yeah. Because Gemini, like I said, we know partnership inherently, so you don't want to ever feel intimidated by the people in a Gemini's life, because we are always surrounded by a cast of characters.
Yes.
And if you are feeling some kind of way about the fact that we are able to connect with people so easily, that's never really going to work for you, because like I said, our presence is the present. So if we're with you, we are choosing to be with you. And the best thing that I can do in a relationship is work on myself.
Yep.
The best thing you can do in a relationship with a Gemini or anybody is really work on yourself.
Yeah.
That way the two wholes are coming together and making beautiful magic, instead of emptiness and voids and trying to fill this, and I'm supposed to drop everything because you have a need that needs to be fulfilled. That's never going to work.
Yeah, we don't operate on deficiencies. Like that's not healthy. And
we already have so much of ourselves to be, trying to fix other people's stuff. We don't even have time for that.
Right. I think, you already hit on the fact that Geminis are like the first, appearance of like human form. So just think about that, like these babies, brand new babies coming into the world, twins, and you just thrust them into the world. Like we're figuring everything out. But remember, children are also the closest to spirit in the sense that they come from a state of all-knowing. They come from a space of complete consciousness. So when you look at us like that, we really do have this wealth of information. We're just figuring out how to use it for ourselves in human form.
Yes.
So just trust that coming from like the pit and understanding what it is to have 1 foot in and 1 foot out, that's what it is.
Yes.
We are still connected to this wealth of knowledge and wisdom that, is the great one. Yes. And at the same time, we're humans like trying to like enjoy these physical bodies and like feel good and live well and enjoy ourselves and laugh. And like you said in the beginning of the video, I mean, we were like making glyphs, like who we make ourselves laugh when no one else is home. You understand? So you don't have to work too hard. Just trust us though. Like, if you have someone in your life who is a Gemini who is good to you, just know that they really love you and they really care for you. If they're good to you, trust that it's a gift. And if you can make a Gemini feel good and be, just honest in who you are, you'll be just fine.
Yes, we are so loyal. We will fly with you to Heaven's Gate, and we will walk with you, and we will be with you.
Yes.
And the best thing is to know that we will always come and go as we please, as long as we are feeling authentic. And when it doesn't feel authentic, then we will not stick around. So just the realness will always set you free and be the most productive, powerful way to show up in partnership.
That's it. That's all. I think that's for real. That's it.
#twinning.